Hi everyone, I'm here to go over our informative article today that is Driverless Vehicles, Pros and Cons of Self-Driving Cars by Dennis Giacone. You should all have a printed copy or a PDF copy of this article available on Schoology along with a link for this Edpuzzle. So we are going to start off on the front side of the article with section 1, that is, Are self-driving cars the next wave of transportation? Let the debate begin. So that is our article. Alright, quite simply, drivers are the cause of nearly every problem on the road. In fact, government research has shown that driver error is likely the chief reason in over 90% of all vehicle crashes. And that's not even factoring in traffic and other highway and city road issues. This has a lot to do with why there has been a growing push to develop self-driving vehicles for mass production. And a computer-operated self-driving vehicle is essentially the model motorist. These kinds of driverless vehicles would eliminate the outside factors that plague their human counterparts. Computers have much quicker reaction times and also do not drink and drive, use illegal substances, get distracted, run red lights, or tail too closely to other vehicles on the road. So I'm going to pause there for a second. I'd like you guys to tell me, what 3 advantages do computers have over human drivers? So please answer that question in Edpuzzle. Alrighty, we're going to continue on with section 1. Okay. Alright, sorry. Still, there is a lot of public apprehension in entrusting a computer to get individuals and freight to a destination safely. Consumers would need to be educated on the concept in order to understand why this is a necessary step toward enhancing driver and passenger safety, as well as reassuring that the technology is without vulnerabilities. Meanwhile, tech and car companies alike are continually investing in the development of properties driverless car technology, which was widely displayed at the year's Consumer Electronics Show, CES. Just recently, the consumer transport company Uber reacted to Google's self-driving car project by teaming up with Carnegie Mellon University to develop its own driverless car and mapping technology. This could potentially put the ride-share company in direct competition with the largest investor, Google. While the technology is still years away from being fully operational, there are plenty of positives and negative factors to consider in a world with self-driving vehicles. Alrighty, so that is the end of section 1. Let's take a note for a moment. Let's talk about paraphrasing. Paraphrasing is a rewording of something written or spoken by someone else using approximately the same length of wording. For example, in this article, the first sentence reads, "Quite simply, drivers are the cause of nearly every problem on the road." That is the original text. If I were to paraphrase that line, it might go something like this. Without a doubt, motorists are the root of most vehicle-related issues. It would not be considered paraphrasing if I wrote something like, "A lot of people are bad drivers." So when paraphrasing, we need to make sure that we use a new form of phrasing, but we use about the same length of wording as the original text. So what I'd like you guys to do is paraphrase the underlined section that is in part 1 of our article, and this is it written in its original text. So the Edpuzzle is going to pause, and I'm going to ask you guys to paraphrase the underlined section of part 1. Next, what I'd like you to do is list 3 elements of section 1 that are essential to understanding the article. So you need to find 3 things from section 1 alone that you think are essential to understanding the essence of this article. Let's talk about another note. Summarizing. Summarizing is giving a brief statement describing the main points of a piece of writing. So, now that we've collected 3 distinct elements of that section 1, what I'd like you to do is, using the 3 elements you listed for section 1, summarize that section of the article. So that means that your summary should be shorter than section 1 of this article. Alrighty. Let's also talk about what your feelings are and your opinions about driverless cars prior to reading pros and cons. So, in the Edpuzzle, in the short answer section, please make sure to answer this question. Alrighty, guys. We are going to continue on with section 2, which is the pros section. Improved safety. Inherently, humans make mistakes, whether it's a choice or an oversight. This will always be true. According to one government study, computer-operated self-driving vehicles will eliminate incidences involving alcohol, distractions, drugs, fatigue, speeding, aggressive driving, overcompensation, inexperience, slow reaction times, inattention, and various other human driver shortcomings. We're going to turn the page. Reduced accidents. Accidents happen. Doesn't need to be accepted as a fact. With computer-operated vehicles, the benefits are such that if only 10% of vehicles were self-driving, they could reduce traffic deaths by approximately 1,000 per year and produce nearly $38 billion in economic and other savings, according to a study by the Eno Center for Transportation. And if 90% of cars, trucks, and vans were self-driving, in the region of 21,700 lives per year could be saved. And economic and other benefits could reach upwards of $447 billion. Less traffic. The Eno Center of Transportation also noted that when a majority of self-driving cars are on the road, they can begin platooning, driving closely together but keeping a secure distance between one another without the gas-guzzling, time-wasting, stop-and-go characteristics of traffic congestion as we know it now. This would allow for smoother traffic flows, reduced lengthy commute times, and even increased highway capacity. So that is section 2, which is the pros. Let's take a note. Quotes. This is copying word for word a phrase from a written or spoken piece of an indicated text that you are not, and you must indicate that you are not the original author or speaker. So what I'd like you guys to do is quote the underlined portion of section 2 of the article word for word in the Edpuzzle. Let's list 3 elements of section 2 that are essential to understanding the article. And then we are going to use the 3 elements we listed for section 2 to summarize the section of the article. Alrighty, guys. We're going to continue on with section 3. These are the cons. Cost. According to the Eno Center study, each self-driving vehicle would require added sensors, software, engineering, and power and computer requirements that presently tally over $100,000 per vehicle, which is an astronomical number that would be unaffordable for most people. Computer hackers. In an age where devices can be controlled from anywhere in the world, people have reservations when it comes to vehicles that are maneuvered by a computer. In a recent poll conducted by the Alliance of Automobile Manufacturers, Auto Alliance, 81% of the respondents said they were concerned that hackers would be able to gain control of a self-driving vehicle. Data collection. Lastly, most people like to keep private. So a car or truck that is being operated by a computer is bound to have a lot of information on it. And in the same Auto Alliance survey, 75% of respondents said they were concerned that companies would use the software from a self-driving car to gather personal data, and 70% were apprehensive because they believed the data would then be shared with government agencies. What do you think? Would you like to see our current vehicles be replaced with a fleet of autonomous cars? Alright, guys, and that is all of section 3 and all of the article. So, there is an underlined section of part 3, and I would like you to paraphrase. So here is the original text, and I would like you guys to paraphrase this piece. I would like you to list 3 elements of section 3 that are essential to the understanding of the article. Using the 3 elements you listed for section 3, Summarize that section of the article. So we are working on summarizing. Lastly, would you like to see our current vehicles be replaced with a fleet of autonomous cars? This is your opinion. You can share your reasoning. I'm going to ask you to explain in the Edpuzzle why you would or would not like to see a large number of self-driving cars on the road. Alrighty guys, that is the end of our informative article for today. I hope that you guys all stay happy and healthy, and I will see you again soon. Bye!